Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Unblocking Your Purpose. I am your host, your friend, your girl, your sister, Jada, and I am so happy to be here with you all on this first Monday of May. If you are new, welcome to the family. We are so glad that you're here to just share with us through our community things that maybe you're facing or have faced, what you're going through, where you're trying to get to. And for those of you who continue to rock with me, even when I skip weeks like I did last week, thank you. Thank you so much for always being here, always being supportive, being understanding, and for sharing this with other women that you feel it can bless as well. So, last week I needed to just take a pause. I had a lot going on, and let me tell you something, the month of May is not going to slow down for me or my babies, but it is all good. We are blessed. He is still in the blessing business. And I'm just grateful, right? I'm grateful for the times I am able to come and share. I'm grateful for the times when I am able to have my boundaries and then remind myself also, as I remind you all, to uphold those boundaries. That as much as I may want to do, and how far I want to go and all of these things, sometimes God has other plans, and I too have to be obedient to that, right? I have to hear from him. I have to know when to go and maybe when not to go. So as I continue to share with you all, I just want you to know I really do live the things that I share with you. A lot of times I'm kind of like, what am I going to talk about? Am I repeating myself? And I'm just being obedient. I'm just showing up. I may have plans, but as we know, he orders the steps, right? So I am in this flesh just like you, and I am doing what I feel that he is calling me to do. And that is why I'm here as I continue to unblock my purpose and to share with you also. Hopefully you are doing the very same thing. So if you are new, or maybe if you just need a little recap, this year, it's really been about getting after who we are, whose we are, who we are, where we're supposed to be, who are we supposed to be in this season? What are we cleaning out, right? What are we purging and getting rid of, physically and emotionally, all the things, right? And so that we can lay some good soil for things to be planted, right? And then planting those seeds and now getting to a point where we are hopefully seeing some of those things come to fruition. They're starting to grow a little bit, right? And we are becoming her in this season, whoever that is for you at this time. I've shared there's different things that I'm trying to do as well, or in conjunction with, taking care of my husband, taking care of my 3 babies, taking care of my 9 to 5, because I still have one of those, right? And then still showing up not only for you, but also for myself. And so I am starting to see the fruits of that, right? I learned a new skill doing the whole AI thing. I have a virtual assistant who has been so instrumental in helping me to get to where I want to go. And so I'm sharing that to say, I too am saying, who am I supposed to be in the season? Who do I desire to be in the season? Because as we know, if we go to him, we've talked about this, going to God, getting his direction, which is most likely going to line up with the desires that he's placed in our hearts, right? And then it's for us to be obedient as we walk that out. So again, we have the plans, he orders the steps. Hopefully we are aligned with all that and we are moving out and doing not only what we want to do, but what he has called us to do. So as we are now in May and we are steadily moving forward, right? Because I often say to myself and to other people and to clients that I coach in my personal life and success coach business, taking small steps can lead to the big success. Those small steps as we're going forward, they are all going to compound and they're going to get us to eventually where we need to be and where he needs us to be, right? So as long as we're making that progress, we should start seeing some of the fruit of the labor that we're putting in. So with that, in May, I want to talk about, we've planted those seeds, like we've purged, we've planted, we've watered, and now we should start seeing how we're showing up and who we're becoming, right? So with that, I want to turn to this verse Very tried and true and well known. And as I was reading it, I was like, oh yeah, this really does make a lot of sense. So it's out of Second Corinthians chapter 5. And of course, I'm always out of the New Living Translation. And it is talking about us as ambassadors for God, right? So we are now, Christ is in us, we're in him, and we're supposed to go out to the world, and we're supposed to be ambassadors. We're supposed to be winning people for the kingdom. And I think in that, the things that we're called to do, our purposes, should all lean towards that, even though that's going to show up in different flavors and in different sizes and shapes and colors, all the things in the way that he has made us to be in this world, right? But it all leads back to that. So that is what they talk about in 2 Corinthians 5, starting in verse 11. But I wanted to specifically just pick out this one piece. It's verse 17, and it says, "This means that anyone who belongs to Christ has become a new person. The old life is gone, a new life has begun." So, not that we are like a shell of who we used to be, not that those virtues and those characteristics and all those positive things we're shedding. We're not purging the things that we still need to carry and show up as, right? We're purging the things that we no longer need. We're putting things on the shelf that maybe don't serve us in this season. But all those other things we should keep, keep with us and keep growing and sharing with the world, right? So yes, the old life is gone in that, hey, the things that are no longer serving us, yeah, we are getting rid of that. We are now moving forward in this new life. So as you were thinking about, and maybe you haven't, and maybe you just go back and think about it now, who is it that you desire to be? And then going to God, and saying, okay, does this align with who you have purposed me to be? That is our new life, right? And yeah, we may do different things in different seasons, but there should be core things that are still there. But as we are going into these new seasons, right? Whether it's through the weather or maybe, for me, I have my twins are 5 and they're graduating from kindergarten, right? So that's kind of a big milestone. Whereas I have other mama friends and their babies are graduating from high school. Someone didn't do it right. No, I'm kidding. God makes no mistakes. But they're going into another season, right? So it's not that it's wrong. It's not that it's bad. It's just new. So as you are thinking about and you're starting to see those different seeds starting to come to fruition to create some fruit, right? Is she showing up? Are you seeing her? We pray for these things. We've prayed for the growth. We've prayed for the clarity, right? We want God to give us clear directions and we want peace while we do this because, the world is always forever throwing something at us. Your spouse needs something. Your kids need something, right? We have all of these demands. So we want to have his peace within us as we continue to take care of all the things and all the people. But have you ever noticed that, yes, that's what we desire, right? We want all of that. But have you ever noticed that when that's happening, or maybe this is where you're at right now in this process, that it's uncomfortable? And you're like, wait a minute. You start doubting, like, is this really what I wanted? Does this come with that? With what I've been dreaming about and hoping and wishing and praying for? And it's uncomfortable. And then, Satan tries to show up and it's like, you weren't made for this. That ain't what you're supposed to do, right? So then that doubt can grow. But we have to know and we have to be so secure in our faith. And we know that because we're walking in obedience, right? We don't always get it right, but we're doing our best to walk in obedience. Even when that uncomfortable feeling comes, that stretching is coming, you feel tension. It doesn't mean that it's wrong. It doesn't mean that it's bad. It doesn't mean that you need to, Uno reverse and go back and be like, this isn't it. It just means that that's part of the process. And yes, it's okay to feel uncomfortable, but it is not okay to stop. It is not okay to quit. We are going to go forward if this is what the calling has been, right? So you're going along, maybe at first, maybe like my workout journey. Oh, so sorry. Can I share with everyone really quick? Squirrel. I started working out. I've been talking about it and it just finally hit me. And I'm like, no, I am going to do this. So I started a version of 75 Soft. We could talk about it later. But basically, I have been really showing up for myself, getting up and working out, eating better, listening to things that are going to inspire me. So, anyways, because I know I said when I started doing, I would let you know. So I started. So as I got excited about that. And although I'm like on day 11, I'm still excited. So, like you first get in and everything is going, going, going. You're like, this is good. Maybe you're losing a little weight, or maybe you see a new ab or whatever, right? And you're excited. And then life happens. And so check in on your girl, right? And I'm in day 11, maybe at day 22, my favorite number, I might be like, whoo, this is a little hard, even though it's supposed to be 75 soft, right? But because we're going and then things seem to shift, or maybe there's more, responsibilities during certain points in this ebb and flow, it can make you doubt yourself, And so we have to make sure that we are renewing our minds every day, right? We know about that. We have to make sure that the people we surround ourselves with are helping us to stay focused, to stay on track, right? We have to make sure that those daily habits, are in place, and that is what's helping us with that roadmap to keep going, and that we are sticking to our boundaries, right? No is a sentence and a whole word, and we have to be okay with that, because life is going to happen. But if we are able to have the right mindset, if we are able to have those habits and have that support, and then we're sticking to our boundaries, it helps us to remain on track to who we're becoming. All right. So yeah, it might be uncomfortable, but I think if we have some of those anchors, it helps us to keep pushing, keep moving, because life is going to hit us, and it's probably going to hit us when we're not expecting it. And so we have to have those anchors so that we can continue to keep going. We also have to be mindful, right? Like, even when it seems uncomfortable, maybe there's something that's hard, or maybe something is producing a result in a way that you didn't expect, or maybe you weren't prepared for. Remember the things that you've prayed for. Remember the things that you wanted. Remember that version of who you're trying to get to, that version of who God is calling you to be. Remember her, so that as you're going through, you keep moving forward as you're becoming that version of her, no matter how hard it is or how uncomfortable it is. Because let me tell you something, even on day 11, there's still some muscles that are a little like, hey girl, what are you doing, right? I'm working through and still pushing through, taking my rest days, recovering, doing that, but still moving forward. So here's the thing. We can't pray for God to elevate us. We can't pray for God to put us in these positions that we desire to be in and stay stagnant and stay the same. It's just not going to work that way. Like, you're either going to get up and do and trust, obey, follow through, and keep going so that you can achieve that. Or you're going to be like, you know what, that sounds real good and it looks good on paper, but nope, I'm going to be content and stay here. But we really can't have both. So as you're going through, maybe you're hitting some roadblocks, some obstacles, ask yourself, is this really what I want? And my husband and I, we had to do a lot of talking when we were like first dating, because we were in the military. He ended up deploying. We didn't live in the same city. So we weren't really together until like a few months before we got married. And so we had to converse a lot. We had to do a lot of like, is this what I really want? And we had to work through that and kind of see like the future of what that could be. And all I'm saying is, there are going to be tough times, but how do you get through that? How do you look at it and say, yeah, this is really what I want, and I'm willing to put in the work now? And so we would have I think there's a series, Crucial Conversations, and he's been in leadership for a while, and I have been in some leadership stuff. And so Crucial Conversations came up, and there's like a booklet and all this stuff, and they would do this in these courses, right? But we would take it and we would apply it to us and have those conversations, those hard ones, right? Like, well, how do you feel about this? Or what do you think about this? Or how would you handle whatever? And so I am using that as an example for you to say, hey, I got to have a crucial conversation with me. I have to say, okay, I thought I wanted this. It's not working out. Is this, and then going to God and being like, is this really what I need to do? Is there a different way I need to approach this? Or do I need to like push pause and come back to it? Or do I really need to just let it go? Have the crucial conversations with him and with yourself as you continue to move forward, right? Becoming who you want to be, because you can't be both. We're not elevating and staying at the same place. That just does not, it's not possible, right? So, another example of this is like, we can't be like, Lord, please bring me peace and understanding. And then we're still doing the things that is bringing chaos and just disorder all over, right? Like, what do we really want? What are we praying for? What are we having faith for? What are we claiming as ours as we pray for it, and then walking in that? And then, not being like, oh, it's not happening fast enough, so I'm going to just go back to my old ways, or I'm going to scratch this, or I'm going to go on to something else. From a type A person who wants things right now and the way she wants it, I've had to work on that and be intentional of like, hey, this is what I asked for. This is what I prayed for. Am I doing my part? And then am I seeing it come to life? Am I hearing God and going where I'm like, yep, there's validation in that, right? So we can't be like, oh yeah, I want peace, and then I'm still going to entertain chaos. Again, what do we really want as you're becoming her, as you're starting to show up as her? And we cannot become her if we're holding on to those old things, right? So again, if you're going back and picking up things because you're uncomfortable and it's what you're used to, is that really going to get you where you desire to be? And I am here for you. I'm not preaching at you. I am just hopefully giving you a few things to think about as you're continuing in this process, right? So a lot of us get stuck because we don't have clarity. We don't have direction. We don't have understanding. We don't have that download. And so I think when we get all of that, and then we do those check-ins and we're making sure to have the conversations, then we can end up where he wants us and where we want to be. So, yes, growth feels uncomfortable, just like I'm working out, right? Stretching those muscles, the muscles contracting. But guess what? If I stay with it, if I keep stretching, if I keep eating right, if I'm doing the water, if I'm doing all the things, then I will physically see a difference in my body, and it changes my mindset already, because I'm like, I'll see something like a bag of cookies and I'm like, it doesn't even seem appealing. Not saying that I won't still have treats. I'm still going to get my coffee. I'm still going to do my, my sweet treats here and there, but it has changed my mindset, because instead of that being the go-to, I'm like, all right, let me focus, or let me channel it somewhere else. Okay. So yes, it feels uncomfortable, but there's so much beauty when we get through it. So find the beauty, find the joy. Find the silver lining, look for and celebrate those wins, whether they're big or small, right? So that helps you to keep going. Have that group of people who are like, hey, checking in. Did you do this? Did you do that? Where you at on your goals? Because I definitely have a friend. Hopefully she's listening to this. She checks in all the time. Okay, where you at with your goals? All right, here's where I am with mine, because we're doing the challenge together, right? So it's a good thing as we are growing through being uncomfortable and maybe being stretched more than we're used to. All right. So again, change your mind, change your life. Identify what's required as you want to become her. Yes, we've done all the preparation, we've planted, we've watered, but what else do you need to shift in your mind and prepare for her as she shows up? Because it may need to be a whole new environment for this new being that you're becoming, right? At this point in time. What old habits do you need to make sure that you keep at bay? And when they pop their heads up, you're like, you recognize it. You're like, nope, not doing that. Nope. Now I'm going to counter it with this. Maybe it's like even changing the mindset of how you deal with a negative thought that comes in. You take it and you turn it for your good. Like all of that starts to build and helps to shape who you're becoming. And what does it actually mean to walk in alignment? These are, these baby steps that we're taking as we're in the community and we're sharing, in the Facebook group, and we're like, hey, I tried this, or I did this. What are those daily habits that can help, that you might be like, what, let me try that. Oh, I hadn't thought about that. And it doesn't have to be something big. It might be a very tiny little tweak that changes the whole way that, you move And then that outcome shows up in that result, and you're like, whoa. And it could be one little thing. So come together so that we can share that with each other. So we're in alignment with the goals you have for yourself. And last but not least, because I know I've been here for a minute talking because I'm so excited to be back. Stop shrinking. Stop bad mouthing. Stop shortchanging yourself. Show up, right? And even when you make a mistake, like even with my babies, I don't always get it right. And I recognize it and I stop and I bring them to me and I'm like, hey, mommy is sorry. Mommy apologizes for doing that. And like listening, because I'm not any better than them. We are all working at this and we're never going to shrink. We're never going to also be too big and boastful. Like, we're not going to do that, but we're going to show up authentically and be genuine and be open to different ways and trying. And, I've said this before, I think it was Jalen Hurts. He's like, you win or you learn. We're not losing in this battle. We're not losing in this thing called life. We are learning and we are getting better. So that version of who you are, and not just becoming, who you are in this season, you're just going to make her better. You're going to continue to work on the things that might feel like a challenge. And you're going to get there and people are going to notice it. And then you're going to have a testimony and you're going to share it. And then you're going to help the next person. Because as the verse said, we are ambassadors and we are out here and we are not only doing this for us, but we're doing it for him and we're doing it for the other people who need to come to know him. So with that, if this spoke to you in any kind of way, please continue to share it. I am so grateful for that. I am so happy to be here. It is going to get busy here. We have all sorts of things, piano recitals, dance recitals, pageants, all the things, kindergarten graduation or presentations, all the things. But I will be here. I will be in the community in the Facebook group. So come check us out. I'm actually going to plan to go live. I think I said that, and I haven't quite made that happen, but I am. That is on the to-do list because I think it'll be fun to engage with each other live. So that will be coming up this summer, and podcast is here every Monday. Drops at 5 a.m. So come and check that out. And also, last but not least, I have updated my journal, Reclaiming Your Identity. If you are watching me on the YouTube channel, here it is. This is actually the older copy. So there's a new copy that's out and it's on for 20% off. And I'm actually doing a drawing because I want to share it with two amazing women. So if you're interested, check me out on my TikTok or on Instagram or in the Facebook group for information to be entered for the drawing, because I will be giving 2 of the new copies of the journal. But it's also a great gift to give someone, and it's just going through, building who you are and who God has called you to be. And I think it will definitely change your life and help you to get to your purpose. So with that, I'm going to get out of here. I love you all. Thank you for being here. And just know that you're not behind. We are working this one thing at a time, one day at a time, one task, one step at a time to get to unblocking our purpose. So I will see you next week. Bye.